Hello and welcome to the Flicks Forum podcast. You're listening to Jesse, Heater and MJ. Each week, we're going to chronologically take you through a different Netflix original film. We'll discuss and dissect the characters, scenes, and why we love or hate it. It's a podcast by film lovers, for film lovers. And we're going to start off today with a bit of a roundtable discussion where each presenter is going to let us know some thoughts about their history with movies. And I think we'll start off with Heater. So Heater, what about some of your favourite films?
Thanks, Jesse. My favourite film would have to be the Mel Gibson classic Braveheart. And I'm also very much a fan of movies like Fight Club, Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. Just a big fan of thrillers in general, crime movies and war movies. How about you, MJ?
Thanks, Heater. Jesse, Heater, it's really good to be here, boys. I'm very excited for this.
Good to be here with you too.
Yeah, a little bit of introduction in what I like in terms of my favourite films. I hate saying this one because it is very popular and there's a lot of people's favourite film, but I can't fault The Shawshank Redemption. It's been number one with me for some time and I just love every second of it. I watch it every year. And my other favourite film that I've always loved is Slumdog Millionaire. When I first saw that, I think I saw it 3 times in the cinemas because I just couldn't get enough of it. So that's a snapshot on the films that I like.
I'm going to sound like I'm on a bit of repeat here, but Shawshank Redemption goes down as my favourite as well.
It is too good.
It's a classic,
I hate that it's like the common number one, but it's...
I was sitting here cringing as you're
number
saying
one it's number one for a reason, though.
I know.
It's amazing.
I do love Stephen King, so, The Shawshank Redemption, based on one of his short stories, and, I think that's probably why I've got that sort of connection with that film, but I also am a big Disney fan as well, so... Got to say, I've got to put the Beauty and the Beast animated version.
I was surprised
there
wasn't a Disney movie straight up there.
I can't believe that wasn't number one for you.
Yeah, had to go with something that was a bit more generic. So we'll move around again, back to Heater. Some favourite actors that we can think of?
Well, how long have we got? Because I could go on for half an hour about this.
Stopwatches on, let's go.
Well, as a kid, I grew up on Bruce Willis action movies. So the Die Hard, The Last Boy Scout, The Jackal. So I'm still a massive Bruce Willis fan. Now it's more, I'm very into the Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio movies. Love all of their work.
Titanic or?
More his later work after that. More, your Gangs of New York, your Shutter Island, movies like that. But I also do love going back and watching old school Robert De Niro movies. All his performances from the 70s and 80s I think are fantastic. So that'd be my top few.
Nice.
How about you, MJ? What do you like?
Look, mine's a little bit of a different tack to you. Like some of my favourites, I love Ryan Reynolds and Chris Pratt. I love guys who can make me laugh, but also just have that real charisma and can steal the screen in that way. But in terms of more of your full drama actors, I'm a big fan of Ethan Hawke and also love Mark Ruffalo. Guys that you just, as soon as they're not on the screen, you're asking where are they because you want them back on the screen.
Nice. I'm going to go with Jake Gyllenhaal. I love that man. He's beautiful. Nightcrawler.
That was no surprise for us here.
Nightcrawler is probably one of my favourite movies too. I didn't mention it, but I do love Jake Gyllenhaal in that. Southpaw as well, and obviously Donnie Darko, and he's got a good collection of films. Heater, female versions.
I'm a big fan of Jennifer Lawrence. I like a lot of her work. And probably only recently in the last few years become a real big fan of Rachel McAdams and a lot of her work. Watched Spotlight the other week and she was fantastic in that. And a few other movies recently. Really liked her work the last few years, so she'd definitely be up there for me.
Mean Girls, of course, as well.
Oh, of course, that's a classic. Yeah. Absolute classic. What do you think?
For me, my number one's always been Carey Mulligan. I watched her in Education. I think she was about 16 during that, and I thought she absolutely blew me away. And since then, I've tried to watch as many films as she's in. I think also The Greatest was one of the second movies I saw her in, and she's great in Gatsby as well. And I love Anna Kendrick. There's so many films that I was looking at to find out, who do I want to put in my favourite actress, and Anna Kendrick's in basically every good film.
Yeah.
And she's just fantastic. I love her.
Yeah, I've sort of gone a little bit different to you guys. I've gone with Betty White.
Oh, nice.
I love Betty White. I think she's...
Hot in Cleveland.
Hot in Cleveland. What a great TV show. Now, Golden Girls was where I started on Betty White, and I tell you what, she's fantastic, and, the last remaining Golden Girl alive, but I think she's perfect.
And that's why we're doing this together, actually. Very, very much opinions.
All got different
coming from different angles every time.
All right, let's talk about directors. Might go with MJ.
One stands out for me is James Wan, the Melburnian horror director, obviously now branching out into bigger Hollywood films, but I'm a huge fan of horror. I've seen every single film James Wan's directed, from Saw to The Conjuring to Dead Silence. And he is absolutely fantastic. Those films are just incredible. He gets horror. He completely understands his audience. I could watch his films forever. So easy vote for that one for me.
Peter?
This was also a very easy one for me. Quentin Tarantino. I love all his movies. The dialogue and script in his movies is fantastic. So I'm a massive fan of pretty much all Tarantino movies. Big fan of Martin Scorsese. I think he does some absolute classics, and especially one of his older movies. I've started going back and watching his first ones. They've been great.
We'll probably get a Scorsese film in about 3 years' time if we're still doing this podcast with The Irishman, I think.
Can't wait for that. And also as well, pretty big now on David Fincher and Ben Affleck as well. I've really enjoyed his start to his directing career, and really like his first few movies as a director.
Love Argo.
I'm going to go with J.J. Abrams.
It doesn't surprise
Does a nice, big, good box office, shiny sort of spectacle, but he can also do a nice sort of low-key movie. I don't know, we were talking about Rachel McAdams before, but Morning Glory with Harrison Ford, directed by J.J. Abrams, written by J.J. Abrams. Loved that, and obviously Lost's probably one of my favourite TV shows of all time, and he was one of the creative minds behind that. So we're nearly done with our little introduction here. We're going to finish off with a couple of sort of questions a bit more specific. So Heath, first Netflix film that you watched?
It was The Do-Over with Adam Sandler and David Spade, which is one we'll probably be talking about in about 7 weeks' time, I think it was on the list. So I'll leave the discussion about it to that. But yeah, that was the first one I watched. Pretty much it was one of the first ones I got when I first got Netflix.
Good.
For me, I was actually surprised how very few Netflix films I'd seen, and I'm glad that we're doing this podcast for that reason. But for me, it was Little Evil. It's kind of a horror comedy gimmick type of film with Adam Scott. So again, we'll talk about that one before too long.
So yeah, haven't heard of that one. I've watched Beasts of No Nation. That was the first one that I saw. So the first Netflix film, but. Obviously looking forward to talking about that one. You'll hear about that one very, very soon. Last question, sort of going around the table. What do we love about movies? What do we think?
I love watching a great story unfold. Just getting caught up in it, writing all the highs and the lows, and I can't go past just watching a brilliant acting performance.
For me, it's multifaceted. It's the whole entertainment times art situation where I can enjoy films on a number of different levels, where sometimes I can get truly lost in a film. It makes me really think, and I can't stop thinking about it for days, and other times that I can just get home, sit on the couch and chuck something on. And I've always found that movies are that buddy that's always there for you, and I absolutely love them.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. I love most things about movies, so I like looking at the way they're made, pulling apart the films, looking at the themes, and I sort of love that whole Hollywood scene, just the way that things are done in that area of the world. So I think it's a pretty good little introduction to the three of us. Hopefully you've all learnt a little bit more about us in the lead up to our first podcast. So our first episode is going to launch on the 19th of December, and we're going to begin with the 2015 war drama Beasts of No Nation. We have got some social media accounts for you to follow, so you can look for us on Twitter @FlixForum, as well as on Facebook and Instagram. So we're looking forward to seeing you on the 19th. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jess.
Thank you.